In today's video, I'm going to show you how to take the song Stirring My Brew and use it as a music and movement activity, singing, actions with instruments, and a game. Hope you'll take a second and subscribe to this channel for fun music and movement activities for children. Let's get started. The first thing I like to do is have the children move freely to the music. So I will play the song and just let them move in their spaces while they are listening to this song. After that, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about the song. I'm going to ask them to describe it and just hear their reactions. There's really no right or wrong answers to this, but I want to give them an opportunity to share. And I also want to know if they heard that it's a minor sounding or spooky sounding music. Then I'm going to teach them the words to the song. And I'm probably just going to do it with the actions because it's such a short and easy song. It's just going to be stir your brew. And then big actions, ooh, ooh. And then stir the brew. And then I'll catch you. And I'm gonna have just give themselves a big hug. And this is how it looks. It's very easy.
Stirring and stirring and stirring my brew. Stirring and stirring and stirring my brew. I'll catch you.
Another thing you can do with this song while they're singing it is to add in some dynamics. And then later you can use that in the game at the end. When you're singing the part, ooh, ooh, you could have them go either way. You could have them go really soft, ooh, or you could have them go, ooh. You know, whichever direction you want to go, soft to loud, loud to soft. And you can have them play with that a little bit while they're singing the song. Depending on the age group, I'm going to present it a little bit differently. So with younger children, I'm going to go slower. I'm going to be a little more dramatic. I'm going to create the pot and I'm going to get the stick and have everybody get their big stick. And we're going to go really slow and stir. And then with a little bit older, like first and second grade, they'll probably know kind of what they want to do with it. You can still paint a picture or tell a story about you're in a cave, there's a witch, there's a cauldron, she's gonna make the Halloween stew. What are we gonna put in the stew? And how are we gonna stir it up and make it yummy for Halloween? Those are just some ideas you can use to get the mood going for Halloween and this song in your classroom. After I teach them the words and the actions, then I'll turn on the music and I'm gonna have them show it to me. If I'm doing this song with, like I said, preschool and kindergarten, I might give them more of those structured movements, do this, then do this, type thing. But if you're doing this with, you want to even use it in third grade, you can have the children make up their own actions. They might make a little story up and show them collecting the things and putting them in. They'll come up with all kinds of fun things during the song. And so you can change the activity to fit the needs of each of those age groups. So you want to repeat the song at least 3 times. You could all stand in a big circle. You could have all the children just stand in their rows and do it. You could have each row take a turn doing it. Just use a couple different ways so they hear the song more than once and they're feeling pretty good about it after that, 7-8 minutes of teaching the words to the song. Next, we're going to get out some instruments. What we're going to do is we're going to take the first 2 lines of the song. Stirring and stirring and stirring my brew. Ooh, ooh. We're going to repeat that for every ingredient that's going to go into the brew. So you could choose your ingredients and your instruments ahead of time, or you could have your instruments out and have the students come up with ingredients that they think the sound of the instrument might match. That's something that would be fun to do with second and third grade. For the younger ones, you might just say, and these are the rattling skeleton bones. And so we're going to have an instrument for each of those verses. So you'll sing, stirring and stirring and stirring my brew. Ooh, ooh. And that's going to be that instrument's turn. Then you might have the ghost of a dust, stirring and stirring and stirring my brew. Ooh, ooh. Then you might have zombie's eyeballs, stirring and stirring and stirring my brew. Ooh, ooh. Or you might have Frankenstein's foot, stirring and stirring and stirring my brew. Ooh, ooh. So each of those instruments would get a turn. We just keep repeating that. And then when you get to the end of your instruments or the ingredients to your stew, the children are all going to play their instruments at the end. I'll catch you. And they can just play, nice, big, loud, lots of noise sound at the end of the song. If you want, you can have them go, ah! Just depends on, what's happening in your classroom. But you can do that at the very end. It's a really fun sound exploration activity that you can do from ages 4 to 8 or 9. So if you're going to have the students choose the ingredients, you just want to have a brainstorm session and write your ideas down and put the list of the things the kids want to do with the instrument. And I probably would have the instrument choices laid out ready to go. The way you'll organize playing with that activity is if you have 5 different instruments and you have 25 kids. So you're going to need 5 of each instrument because you're going to put them in groups. So group 1 would be verse 1, and then put all the jingle bells or the rhythm sticks, group 2, 3, 4, 5. So that each verse is just going to go around the circle and you have those kids sitting together with the same instruments. I found that really helps the kids to put the group all together, and then you could switch their parts. Then they can change groups. And so you could do that activity. I don't know, 5 times might be too much in one class time. They could do it at least 3 different times, let them change. The last thing you can do with this song is to play a simple circle game. And it's just going to be a choosing game where they take turns being the witch in the middle. And I would just use a scarf for this. So this is the witch's broomstick. And so all the kids are going to be walking around the outside of the circle on the beat. Stirring and stirring and stirring my brew. Woo, woo, lots of movement. And then the witch is going to be in the middle, right, with the broomstick. And when they get to I'll catch you, the witch is going to spin. Everybody needs to stop. So if you're using this game with kindergarten, I would not have them move around a circle. Just have them move in their space. Stirring and stirring and stirring my brew. Woo, woo, stirring and stirring, stirring my brew. I'll catch, and then the witch is going to go you. Okay? Because it's too much to have all that movement in kindergarten. So you just have them stay in their space. If you want to play the game, like I said, maybe first can do it, but for sure second and third, then you could have them walk around the circle on the beat. And then they'll know to stop. I'll catch is when they stop. And then the witch in the middle is going to go you. That person isn't going to trade places. So we're just going to take turns being the witch in that game. And we're going to add in a little movement and make it fun. It's a super fun game that you can play with kindergarten. Like I said, up to even third graders will enjoy this game. While you're playing the game, don't forget to add in that little dynamic. So when the students are walking around a circle, they're going stirring and stirring and stirring my brew. Woo! Woo! And they can go from soft to loud and also low to high and use that head voice. These are just some fun Halloween activities you can do to keep the music learning going during the spookiest time of the year. This song is available on the Sing, Play, Create, all those music channels, Deezer, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, etc. And this is a teaching video on the Sing, Play, Create Kids music channel. So if you want to head over there, the link is in the description and you can use it in your classroom. Today Today I'm sharing a beat and rhythm activity for the Halloween chant, 5 Little Pumpkins. Let's get started. In this video, I'm going to take you step by step how I teach this song or this chant to children, and we're going to incorporate some beat and rhythm activities to go along with it. You can find the music that I'm using on any of your favorite music channels like Amazon, iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube Music. It's called 5 Little Pumpkins by Sing, Play, Create. The first thing I'm going to do is have the children listen to the song and then pat the beat. We can do this on our knees, or we can get out some drums and have them pat the beat to the music.
5 little pumpkins, 5 little pumpkins, sitting on a gate, sitting on a gate. The first one said, oh my, it's getting late, oh my, it's getting late.
After we've played the steady beat, I'm going to teach the children the words to the chant. Now you can use the music or you can just use the chant with this activity. You don't necessarily need to play the music and they don't need to sing it. They can just chant it. It works both ways. So I'm going to have them play the rhythms using their hands, and I'll just have them clap the words and the sounds of the words back to me. 5 little pumpkins, and then I do this to show that I'm waiting and resting for them to play it back to me. And I'll go through the entire chant and teach them all the words to that. After we do the call and response, I will then do it with them and we'll do it together. If I'm teaching this to children who can read, it does help a lot to have the words on a board or in front of them so that they can read along with you. This also connects music and literacy skills together in this activity. After we've gone through all the words and they have clapped the rhythms, it's time to bring out the rhythm sticks. This is where I will have them do the exact same thing, the echo, the rhythms back to me. I will play them and then I'll have them play it back to me. The song works really well for this activity because it's already an echo song. This is how it might sound. So we're listening first.
5 little pumpkins, 5 little pumpkins, sitting on a gate, sitting on a gate. The first one said, oh my, it's getting late, oh my, it's getting late. The second one said, there's riches in the air, there's riches in the air. The third one said, we don't care, we don't care. The fourth one said, let's run and run and run, let's run and run and run. The fifth one said, let's have some fun, let's have some fun. Whoosh went the wind, whoosh went the wind, and out went the lights, and out went the lights. And the 5 little pumpkins, rolled out of sight, rolled out of sight.
After we played the rhythm of the words with the music, there's a couple different ways we can diversify this activity. You can add to playing rhythms, we can now put the beat back into it. So you could divide the class in half, have half the class play the drums, and the other half of the class could play the rhythm of the words. The group that's playing the drums, I would have them be the call or the part 1. They could be the first part, and the second group or the rhythm people could play the rhythm back to them. Another way you can do that is to have both groups playing rhythm, but have group A playing the first part, 5 little pumpkins, and the second group being the echo. You'll have to work with the students on some of those pickup notes and help them get it so they know when to come in with the music. But after a couple times, I personally think your 2nd and 3rd graders can do that pretty easily. Another way we can add in some rhythmic activity and practice in this lesson is to create an ostinato that we're going to play through the song. And I would choose a different instrument. I do like the shaker. It's for Halloweeny sounding. It sounds like rattling bones. And so we can have the students, they can either come up with a pattern, or you can just use a simple one like ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. We're going to play the ostinato, ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, through the entire song until we get to the part of whoosh, went the wind, and out went the light, and then we'll go back to it, and the 5 little pumpkins rolled out of sight. And then they can shake at the end to finish their song out. That would look like this.
5 little pumpkins, 5 little pumpkins, sitting on a gate, sitting on a gate. The first one said, oh my, it's getting late, oh my, it's getting late. The second one said, there's riches in the air, there's riches in the air. The third one said, we don't care, we don't care. The fourth one said, let's run and run and run, let's run and run and run. The fifth one said, let's have some fun, let's have some fun. Now whoosh went the wind, whoosh went the wind, and down went the light, and down went the
Back to it.
and the 5 little pumpkins rolled out of sight, rolled out of sight.
The idea behind using all these different elements, beat, rhythm, ostinato, and helping the students decode the sounds of the words and all different ways of learning rhythms and playing them with the music, is to give them an understanding, an overall understanding of how music works together. And that's why it's fun to do a couple different types of rhythm activities with one song. Now we're ready to put everything together. We're going to have steady beat on the drum. We're going to have our rhythm of the words, or the sounds of the words, the way the words go, the rhythm. And we're going to incorporate a rhythmic ostinato for another group to play. So if you divide your students into 3 different groups, one for each of these instruments, and then you can go through the whole song and let them play their part. I like to have them sit together so that everybody playing the ostinato is sitting together until they really learn how to do it. Then you can go through the song and then have them switch and just rotate through each of those parts.
5 little pumpkins, 5 little pumpkins, sitting on a gate, sitting on a gate. The first one said, oh my, it's getting late, oh my, it's getting late. The second one said, there's riches in the air, there's riches in the air. The third one said, we don't care, we don't care. The fourth one said, let's run and run and run, let's run and run and run. The fifth one said, let's have some fun, let's have some fun. Now whoosh went the wind, whoosh went the wind, and down went the light, and down went the
Back to it.
and the 5 little pumpkins rolled out of sight, rolled out of sight.
This is a super fun Halloween activity that you can use from kindergarten all the way up to 3rd grade. I would love to know how this works for you and if you're able to use it in your classroom or at home in your music and movement activities. So I hope you'll drop me a comment below. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let's keep kids moving and learning with music. And today I am sharing some music and movement activities for children using the song There Was an Old Witch Who Stirred a Brew. Let's get started. In today's video, I'm going to share with you an outline of that video. It's 15 minutes long.
There was an old witch stirred up brew for the monsters, past and ghost, and the rest of her crew.
And there are some different sections in it, and I'm going to go through each of those sections so that you have a better understanding of how to use this at home or in your classroom. If you want, you can go and download the free resource by joining the Sing, Play, Create freebie group. It has all the materials you need to use this at home or at school. This is a cumulative song, and so the goal is for the students to collect the ingredients to help the witch stir her brew. She has to stir a brew in order for Halloween to come true. Each of the ingredients has a special meaning and an action that's going to go along with it. The students are going to have to do in order to collect the ingredient for the witch. In the first section of the song, it goes through all the ingredients and what's going to happen in the story. Then we have the first challenge, and that is to collect a zombie eye. To collect the zombie eye, the students are going to have to spell the word Halloween. Once they spell the word, the zombie eye drops into the witch's brew and she is able to stir it up. The next ingredient is a pumpkin, and so they're going to sing the 5 Little Pumpkins song. Then they have to do a challenge. They're going to have to run, jump, and duck. And they're going to be doing this using the video. It's like a run challenge exercise video that you've seen on YouTube. Then they'll sing the next verse to find out what the next ingredient is, and that is the dust of a ghost. If you have scarves for them to use, they can use a scarf to catch the dust of the ghost. The next ingredient is a dragon's egg. And in order to get the dragon's egg, they're going to have to dodge right, dodge left, crawl, and jump. The next ingredient is the bone of a skeleton. And in this challenge, they're going to have to get a bone from the skeleton while he's doing the skeleton dance. And so all the students can stand up and do the skeleton dance to get the bone from the skeleton. After they have the ingredients, they're going to have them all in the witch's stew, and they're going to sing through it. And the song is going to go through the ingredients going backwards, just like a cumulative song does. And so they'll review all of the ingredients, and Halloween will then happen. Here's another way you can use this activity. You can add in some hand actions and body movement. So when the students are singing the song, each of the ingredients can have an action attached to it. So the first ingredient is a zombie eye. So they're going to do this. A zombie's eye. And they can pound their fist. The second ingredient is a pumpkin, and we're going to do this. Roll our hands like a pumpkin. A pumpkin that wasn't a pie. The dust of a ghost can be open and close, as if you're whooshing the ghost's dust or grabbing the ghost dust, one or the other. Open and shut movement. For the dragon's egg, we can pretend our hands are the dragon's mouth, breathing fire, and we're clapping. When they are ready to get the skeleton's bone, they can pat their thighs, or they could pat their body like this. This is a good one too, to get the skeleton's bone. You can add those actions in after you've sang it through the first time. Then the students can not only do these actions, but they can also do the movement and challenges that are in the video. If you want to turn this into a music activity, it's pretty easy. I have the chart, as you can see, and the students are going to play a different instrument for each of the ingredients. The zombie eye is going to be a triangle. The pumpkin is going to be a drum. The dust of a ghost is shakers. The dragon's egg is wood blocks or sand blocks. And the skeleton's thigh bone is rhythm sticks. As you can see, this is a chart that you can get on the free resource that will give you the instruments and a poster so you can work with the student. There's 2 ways you can do the instrument activity. One is that every student has every instrument, or you can have groups of students. There's 7 ingredients, and so there would be 7 groups of students, and then they could play when it's their turn. So for example, if they're the zombie eye, then all of the triangles would play during the zombie eye. During the skeleton bone, all the rhythm sticks would play during the skeleton bones. The other students could do the hand actions for those. while the one group is playing their instrument. So everybody can have their hands busy during this activity. I hope you'll drop a comment below and let us know which part of this song was your student's favorite, which age group did you use it with, how did you use it, what was effective, maybe what didn't work so well, and how can I improve this resource. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know teaching music is a tough job and it takes a lot of time, energy, and emotional energy. Today's activities are going to be games and activities for Halloween with beat and rhythm cards. These activities are in the Sing, Play, Create free resource library, and they are super effective activities. I've got some flashcards you can make to use in your classes to help students learn beat and rhythm. Nice little ghosties. So these are just a sample of some of the things that you'll find in the resource library. And I just printed them on cardstock, and then you can use these in your centers, in whole group classes, and lots of games, and I'm going to give you some of those ideas today. So be sure to go get that freebie from the Sing, Play, Create free resource library. Activity number 1. In kindergarten, it's really nice to have a bunch of these thematic type steady beat charts printed out and laminated, and then you make enough for every student in the class. And then this isn't double-sided, but you can double-side them, so you could have a fall one on this side and then have the Halloween on this side. And that way, when you are teaching the steady beat, instead of having students who are so little, they're looking up and they're trying to follow on your PowerPoint, you can give them these cards, and it really helps because then they have something for their hands and they like them, and so then they can go and you can have them tap like this, and then you can walk around the room and watch them tapping, you know, while the music's playing. And this type of activity is a really good pre-activity to like passing bean bags on the beat or bouncing a scarf on the beat. So you could use this as the transition into a steady beat activity. You could have any music like stirring and stirring and stirring my brew, or there was an old woman all skin and bones. You use any of your Halloween favorites and have the students tap the beat first. And then you could segue into either a beanbag activity where they're passing the same song and they're passing a beanbag, or they're bouncing their scarf with the same music. So they're going to get two different ways to be learning the steady beat from one song and just using this simple laminated printout. Activity number 2. I use a hand drum for this game because I like to walk around the classroom, and you'll need some rhythm cards for this, and you can just print these out, and you're going to give everybody a different rhythm card. And the goal is for them to get in groups of 4, and then they're going to put their rhythm cards together like this, 4 of them, and then they're going to say and play them in their group. But the way you're going to play the game is just give everybody a card, and then I use a cue, like I'll say I'm going to tap a rhythm on the drum, and that means go. And so then they're going to go and they're going to find somebody, and then I just play a beat. And you could even say I'm going to play 16 beats, so then they're counting. You could do that too with the upper grades. And then you play the beat, and then when you do the cue again, well, I don't know, remember what I did the first time, but play a cue, and then they have to stop. And they have to find someone, the closest people to them, and sit down. It is a little hard to do. I wouldn't recommend this if your students aren't used to getting into groups. So that is just a tip. But the other thing you could do is you could put a number on the back of this, and you could say, okay, everybody that has a 1, you know, hold your card up and get in the group with the number 1s. Everybody with the number 2, get in a group with the 2s, and then have them sit down. So that way you could play that game even in 3rd grade if you put the numbers on the back of the cards, and then you just want to use 4 of each number. So you'd have 4 1s, and they have to find each other, sit down. Then you could remix the cards, or have them trade with another group so they have everybody has different numbers, and then play that game for a little while. It's a good mixer. It's a good way to shake things up. It's a good brain break. It could segue into a rhythm play along. It could segue into playing instruments, like maybe the rhythms that you're using is the song they're going to be playing. So if you have a song you're working on, you choose the rhythms that are in the song. You have the students do the mix-up game, and then they can go and play the song using those rhythms. So I think it's a really good practice. It also could be for assessment, but I like to use it for the instruments where they're moving on to something that uses these rhythms. Activity number 3. This is another easy game you can play just with these same rhythm cards. You're only going to use 4 cards, and you don't want to use the half note unless you're only going to use 3 cards. So you're going to want 4 1-beat cards or a half note with 2 cards. So that's how you're going to play the game. So you need just 4 beats. And what you're going to do is have everybody sit in a circle, and you're going to take the 4 cards and you're going to start passing them around the circle and ask the students to pass them on the beat. And I always like to get them all out and have them go all the way around before I stop. And then I'll have my drum and I will play the drum beat for them so they're passing on the beat. And then when I stop, they stop, and whoever has the 4 cards jumps to the middle of the circle. They lay their cards down, they put them in an order, and then they say and play them for the class, and then the class echo plays those rhythms back together. If you teach your students this game and play it enough so that they know how it goes, like they could manage it without you, this is a great substitute lesson because the kids can self-play it. They aren't going to need a teacher to understand the directions. They're pretty easy, so the sub is going to be so happy the kids are playing this game and they're actually learning. You could take it up another level with this game and put instruments in the circle, 4 instruments, and they play it on the instruments. And that's just another fun way for your 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders to practice rhythms while playing a game. Don't forget, these rhythm cards are free in the Sing Play Create free resource library. I highly recommend that you laminate them. So what I would do is I would print the cards, cut them up, get them laminated, and then I had just simple Ziploc bags, 1 for each month. And then that way I had all these rhythm activities ready to go. They don't take a lot of preparation, and they're fun games, and you can use them in a whole class. But then once the whole class learns it, you can easily put these in a station so the kids could pass the cards, and even though there might be 4 students playing the game together, they're going to get a different card each time they put the rhythms together, and you might give them rhythm sticks or a fun instrument to play those rhythms on. It's just another great way to practice reading and saying and playing the rhythms. Activity number 4 is also pretty easy. This is one you can play in small groups, even with 2 people. So let's say you just want to do a quick rhythm review because you're going to teach them a song and they need to know TT or Tiri Tiri, 16th notes or 8th notes. So you're going to put these in your stack and stack the cards up, and you need to have enough so that they have, if there's only 2 of them playing, so they might need 8 cards in it. And then what they're going to do is they're going to flip it over, and they're going to just say and play that rhythm to their buddy. And they're just going to take turns. And it's very simple, but it's super effective, and it's just a warm-up to another activity. So you're just getting them back in music land and ready to go play music or do a rhythm play along. What I like about these kind of activities is that it gives them a chance to do something one-on-one with another student or in a smaller group, and you are able to walk around the room and just check on people how they're doing and if they get it. Then later, like I've said, I always try to do these activities so that we are building skills to do them in stations. So then you could have a pair and share station, is what I call this game, just pair and share. And they can just pair and share these rhythms. You could have a guide if you need to help them along. But that way you've taught them how to do it in the whole class, and then you've given them the chance to do it in a station. Activity number 5. This is also super easy. You need a lot of flashcards for this activity. So you're going to want to make enough so that everyone can have 4 cards of the type of cards that you're working with. So if you're teaching in 3rd grade and up, you can use quarter, 1/8, 1/16, and if you want to use like the half note cards, and I also have whole note cards, then you can use those too. So what you're going to do is everybody's going to have 4 cards. They're going to put them in an order and they're going to say and play them. And you're going to ask them to do it 4 different ways. And you could give them instruments, you can have them clap it, you can use this game easily for an assessment. So you could be sitting at a table or on the floor. You could have each student come up and draw 4 cards, and then they could show you what they play while the other students are creating rhythms of their own. You could have a stack of cards for them, and let's say you have 5 rows of kids. So you could make a stack of cards for maybe each of those rows. So if they have done their 4 a couple times, they can just quietly get up and trade cards and just keep playing their rhythms. I like to use instruments for that kind of activity because I feel like it keeps their attention longer when they get to play an instrument. And that way you can call the students up, you can have them say and play the rhythms while everybody else is having fun playing. Yes, it's a little noisy. You can tell them you're going to work on dynamics too, and we're going to be playing pianissimo, and just make a big deal of it and see if they can play pianissimo so you can hear the other students playing their rhythm. I think those kind of games are a lot of fun. I hope they work for you. Don't forget, you can go get this set of free rhythm and beat activities and cards in the Sing, Play, Create free resource library. I would love to know how you have used them in your classroom. Drop me a comment below so that you can share your way that you use these cards, because I'm sure there's millions of ways to use these flashcards, and if they worked for you in your elementary music classroom. Activity number 1. This is going to be a big hit with your K through 3 classes. It's called We're Going on a Monster Hunt. You can get to this video by going to the Sing, Play, Create YouTube channel. A fun way to use this activity in a music classroom is to put scarves with the activity. So in the story, there are 3 different actions, and for those actions, you're going to choose a different scarf movement. When you choose the actions, you could have the kids just do this while they're singing. Going on a monster hunt. I got my binoculars. I'm not scared. And then they're going to go through the journey of the 3 different places they have to get to. Monster is the haunted house, and then they will then be in the haunted house, and when they see the monster, they do this when they can't see anything. So you're going to have them, oh, it's dark in here. I see 2 ears, and then the eyes, and then the teeth. And then when they run away, they can run away. And you can have them, instead of running around your classroom, you could just have them spin and run in space. So they're just turning in their little circle doing it around. So the fun thing that I like to do with the actions is I actually like to tell them what the actions are before we do it with the scarves. And then I'll ask them to make up some moves for those scarf actions. And I encourage them to choose things where they're making big movements. So we want to get them going across the body, and we can do this, or we can go high to low across the body. You can have them switch hands across the body. You can have them do this and go across the body. Like jump could be like this. Jump, jump. And then you can have them do things like waving across the body. So we want to try and get them doing some of those kind of actions, not just this and straight in front. Because it's when we cross midline that we're really getting that brain to make the connections. And I tell them, well, let's get our brains to make connections. And so we have to cross across the body. and can make big movements. And they can even, if it's jumping or stomping, whatever the actions are in one of these hunts, because you don't have to use My Monster Hunt, there's a whole bunch of them. Whatever the actions are, you can, have them do the jump or the stomp or the crawl or whatever it is with their scarf. That's fine. But I like using the scarf with it because at the end they get to do this thing, and they really have a good time doing that. And then when they slam the door, you can have them toss their scarf in the air and drop it to the ground, and then they have to fall down with their scarf and be really quiet because that's the end of the story. So that is one fun activity you can do during the month of October, during the scariest time of the year in the classroom. While I'm talking about scarves, Sing Play Create has 2 scarf activities on the YouTube channel, as you can see. So you can head on over there and have a good few minutes of scarf movement that is Halloween themed with some fun Halloween music. You might be playing some kind of game in your music classroom for the month of Halloween, like Pass the Pumpkin, or you might be doing the Peer Gynt Suite where they're playing the beat and going fast and slow and loud and soft on the beat. And then it might be time for a brain break. So you can go ahead and grab this Halloween freeze dance activity that you can pull up and show to your students and have them do this activity for as long as you need them to. So if you only need 1 minute of a transition, then you just pull this up and you can play it for 1 minute. They're going to get at least 4 actions in that minute, which is plenty for a very quick brain break. If you need it to be longer, the videos vary in length, but they're at least 5 minutes, so you can have a good 5-minute movement activity if that's what you need. And then it would be a great time to pull them over and read a Halloween story. Or you could sing a slow song like Skin and Bones and have them sing a song after they've had the movement break. The next activity is a complete music lesson, and it's Halloween chant 5 Little Pumpkins, but I changed the words to be specific to the elementary music classroom. And the great thing about this video is you can pull it up and use it as a complete lesson. Then you could combine it with a scarf or a freeze activity or one of the other activities that I'm going to share with you here. The next activity is a movement break. It is a skeleton dance. And so you're going to have the students, and this is really popular with your pre-K, kinder, and first graders in particular. We're going to be skeletons, and we're going to get everything loose. And if you're working with the pre-K and kinders, it's a good idea to go through the body parts with them before you do the song. So we're going to say, we're going to wiggle our head, and we're going to wiggle our neck, and we're going to wiggle our shoulders. And you can have them say the words back to you nice and slowly, and then you're telling them, just give it a try. And their elbows and their wrists and their fingers and even their thumbs. So you could go through and just do a nice little wiggle each part of the body before you do the skeleton dance. And then when they do the song, they're going to feel a little more comfortable moving all those different parts of their body. And we've helped our little ones learn about their body. It also helps them with their space, because we're going to say we're going to keep all our wiggly bones in our personal space while we do the skeleton dance. And then I like to do a quieter activity after we do something like that, so then they can sit down, and we might want to get out the drums and play the beat to a song or sing a song or read a story. A movement activity is a nice segue to something that's sitting down or more quiet. The next activity is another Halloween movement song. So all my tips about skeleton dance work for this. It's called Halloween Dance, Halloween Dance. So what I like to do is I will just put it on and have them do the song. Just let them go for it. Then we can sit down and I can pause the video and teach them each action. And if you haven't had time to prep, which that's okay, you're only teaching 6 or 7 grade levels and you have millions of activities to do, I get it. That's an easy way to just do it with them. Do it with your first class, then you'll know it. So put the video link in a Google Slides with all your Halloween music activities. And then you can pull that video up, have the kids do the song, and then don't just have them do the song and do nothing with it. What you can do is have them then pause and have them show you, okay, what do we do during this part, and have them show you. And then let it play for a minute. Say, watch, 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 watch. Okay, what's the action that we do next? Okay, watch. What's the action we do next? And then see if you can put all the actions together. So that's a fun way to learn an action song. We're also teaching them sequencing. You're teaching them to look and listen, and they're getting a great movement break out of it. The next set of activities, I'm just putting this all in one group, is Halloween or October songs. I like my students to sing at the beginning of class, whether it's a vocal warm-up or we're singing a special song of the month, especially with my pre-K through second graders. I really like them to have a special song that they're singing. You know, they only get music once a week or so, and I just want them to use that singing voice as much as we can. So I always have a little song that we're working on, and again, I just take the link to the YouTube video to these songs. I put them in my lesson plan for the October month for my kindergarten classes, and this is going to be their song, or I might have 2 different songs that they're working on, as well as their vocal explorations, and that's our warm-up to class. So I might have one of these songs in there, and there's about 5 of them on the Sing Play Create YouTube channel. There's a song called October, where they spell October. There's a song called Bats and Cats. There's another song called The Black Cat. There's another song called Halloween is Coming Soon. And there's another one called 3 Round Pumpkins. So if you don't want to do a lot of Halloween stuff, there are other little action songs in the October Halloween playlist on the Sing Play Create YouTube channel. So the way I introduce a song to them is I just play the video and I say, just, move freely to the music. How does it make you feel? And then they do that to the little song, and then I have them sit down and I'll either, echo clap the rhythm, or I'll sing and have them echo sing it back to me. It depends how much time I have and how deep I want to go. You can even use the video to do that. You can play the video and pause it and have them sing that back to you. That is a great way to save your voice. You don't have to do all the singing in the classroom. Let your students use their voices. Once they've learned the words, then we can sing the whole song through. Another fun thing you can do with these songs is put all of them together for a little Halloween program. After my students know the song, if I'm teaching it to 2nd and 3rd grade, then what I do is I have them break into small groups and I have them come up with the actions for the song. Especially in 3rd grade, I have found they really like to do this. They either like to make it into a story, or they want to do actions, or they want to get the scarves out and do it with scarves. And I let them do that probably on the 3rd class time, because by that time they will know the song and they'll know the things I've taught them through the song, and then they can go and create on their own.
The next activity is Halloween body percussion activity. And what I do is I usually just put the video on. I'm going to have the kids just follow along the first time and just tell them to do their very best. That way they can have an overall picture of what the expectation is. And then depending on the age group, I will go through and stop. As you can see, I give the directions and then we do the action. So then I'll have them practice those actions. I'll just slide through the video and do each action, and then I'll have them practice it, and then we will try it with the video again and see if they can keep up with it. What's really fun if you do like this kind of activity is this is on the YouTube channel, but you can get the resource and it has cards that then you can put in a center or have the students choose what actions they want to do and put them together and make little body percussion patterns. And that's just another fun Halloween activity you can use with the video on the Sing Play Create YouTube channel. This next activity is a Witch's Brew story song. It's got all kinds of different actions that students can do in it. They're going to sing, run, duck, jump, dodge, crawl, spell Halloween, and do a dance. There Was an Old Witch. It's an original song, but it's similar to There Was an Old Woman Who Swallowed a Fly, that kind of an idea where a cumulative song, and they're on a journey going and looking for things to put in the witch's brew so she can make sure Halloween starts. So there is a free resource, as you can see in these slides. The kids are going to do the different actions. When they see the zombie, they're going to pound their fist. When they see the pumpkin, they're going to roll their hands. When they see the ghost, they're going to open and close their hands, open and shut them. And then when they see the dragon's egg, they're going to clap their hands together. And when they see the skeleton's thigh bone, they're going to pat their thighs quickly like rattling bones. You can go through the activity directions using the freebie from the Sing Play Create free resource library, and then you can put it with the video and have the students play along. Those are the actions. Then I went through and gave an instrument for each of those actions. So you could get out your instruments and have the students play for each of those things that the witch is going to have to collect for her brew. So the first one, like the zombie eye, you could have them play a triangle. For the pumpkin, a drum. For the dust of a ghost, some shakers. For a dragon's egg, some wood blocks or sand block. And the skeleton's thigh bone could be rhythm sticks. So there's lots of different ways you can do that kind of an activity. You can have every student have one of those kind of instruments, or you can have groups of triangles sit together and groups of drums sit together, so the students can help each other play when it is their time to play during the song, because it's going to repeat and it's going to go backwards, and so they have to pay attention. So it's a really fun music and movement activity you can do through the whole month of October.
The last idea is if you're looking for some spooky music and Halloween songs for your upper elementary to sing, I have a set of songs that are on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music. You'll find them everywhere. And you can use those songs for your upper grades. They are also available in the Sing Play Create Teachers Pay Teacher store and on my website. But if you just want some spooky music playing, these are a great option. You can do a lot of beat and rhythm activities and freeze dances and other things with them. So I hope you'll go check those out. I appreciate you being here. I know you have a tough job, and the month of October can sometimes be a little hairy, spooky, monsterish. So hang in there. Let's keep those kids moving and learning with music.
Sing, play, create.